What is up, guys? So, as most of you may know, BMWs have a pretty bad reputation when it comes to owning them. Most people would say, oh, they break all the time, and when they do break, it is so costly to maintain. I would never buy a BMW. Now, I'm here to tell you that that is not always the case. I know for a fact before I bought my BMW, when I was doing research, plenty of people were saying that they are horrible to own and they're very costly to maintain, which was kind of discouraging, but at the same time, I did see people who said positive things about them, and ultimately, I still ended up buying one. As you know, I've had the car for the last 18,000 miles and almost 2 years now. As the title states, I've only had one thing malfunction on this car, and is the one thing I've actually had to replace because it malfunctioned. Now, I'm not saying I haven't replaced anything on this car, because I have, but those other things that I have replaced are because I just wanted to do some preventative maintenance. They weren't actually because they were broken or that something malfunctioned. So in this video, I'm just going to tell you the story of what exactly happened. It all started when I first bought the car. The first few days of owning the car, I was showing everyone around, I was all excited because I got a new BMW, it looks amazing. Within the first week of driving around, I was going up this really steep hill, very steep, steeper than most hills. And everything was fine. I was going up the hill, and then I got over the hill and then started going down the hill, which was also equally as steep. So I was going down the hill and I ended up missing my turn where I was going to go. So I had to make a U-turn, so I stopped at the next stoplight and I got into the turn lane and waited because the light was red. And as I'm waiting there, everything's fine, everything's great. And then once the light turns green, I step on the gas to go, and nothing happens. The car just inches forward because of the momentum of going downhill. So I look down at my instrument cluster and the car's off, and the service engine soon light is on. So at this point, I'm like, oh my goodness, are all those things people said about BMWs true? Am I really gonna have to deal with this now? All sorts of negative things. So anyways, I just pull off. Thankfully, that turn lane was supposed to go into a neighborhood. So I got off the main street and got into the neighborhood and just pulled off to the side of the street. So I stop and I get out of the car and open the hood and I look around and I don't see anything visibly wrong. So I'm just kind of confused at this point. I didn't know that much about how BMWs worked yet. So I go back into the car and the car was still on, the electronics were on, but just the engine was off. So I turn the car off and then I just restart the car and the car starts up just fine, as if nothing was wrong. So that's made me even more confused. So, the car was running, so I just ended up finishing my day and going to where I was going to go. And just was kind of just keep an eye on it if it happened again. So sure enough, it did happen again. Maybe about a week later, I was going to go pick somebody up. And I was idling, I was just sitting there waiting with my engine on in park. And I was sitting there for around 8 minutes, and then I put the car into drive to go move towards the person I was going to pick up. And I noticed that the car immediately started just revving. I wasn't stepping on the gas or anything, I was just letting it move forward. And the RPMs were just revving up and down, from 500k to 3k. It just was going like that for 10 seconds. And then the engine shut off and the light came on again, service engine soon. And pretty much the same thing happened as in the first time. At this point, I'm just kind of freaked out. Okay, something is wrong. I don't know what it is. It's obviously not that serious because the engine still runs. It just for some reason loses its ability to idle controllably. So I figured it's something electronic, but I wasn't sure yet. So I went ahead and bought a scanner to read the code. And there were some other codes on there, probably from previous errors, but nothing serious. There was one that piqued my interest, which was from the DME, and it read that there was a malfunction with the intelligent battery sensor. Now, I had no idea what that was. I had never heard of such thing. So I went online, started doing research about it, and I found out some stuff. It's something on the battery that helps measure the voltage across the battery so that the voltage doesn't get too high or too low. So yeah, it said that was malfunctioned. So since I didn't really know that much yet about how to fix anything on this car, so I took it to just the local shop who works on German cars, and they also put it through a scanner, but more a more advanced scanner. And it read the same code, that there was something wrong with the intelligent battery sensor, and he explained to me the same thing I read online, and that he could replace it. He could buy a new intelligent battery sensor And so I went ahead with that. I had him replace it. It cost around $300 for parts and labor. And that's the end of the story, guys. So yeah, my car has never had any major issues since that particular issue. Nothing that's broken, that's compromised the functionality of the car. There's nothing. I'm not saying every 328i from the E90 generation is perfect like mine, that doesn't break at all, has very few issues. There are still quite a few 328i's from the E90 generation that do break, and I know people that own them, and they've told me that they've had a bunch of problems with them. But I mean, one thing in common that I noticed from those people who are experiencing those issues, they just bought the first BMW they saw on the list without test driving it, without doing a Carfax report, without doing a pre-purchase inspection. And that's why, if you do those three things, you should have a better idea if the car has been maintained. And all those people that say BMWs are horrible are probably those who have just bought any BMW without doing any Carfax report or inspection or something, and they ended up buying a BMW that wasn't well taken care of, and then now they're paying the price for it. So I mean, if you are in the market for a BMW, specifically a 328i from the E90 generation, if you look and be patient in your search for for a 328i, and if you do find one you're interested in, you make sure that you do an inspection. You have someone who's a professional look at the car. You do a Carfax history, some sort of history report on the car, as if to see if it's been maintained and been serviced frequently, so that you can see if it's been taken care of by the previous owners. Now, I'm not saying even if you do find one that's been well taken care of and that has good inspection, won't break, because I mean, you never know. You really never know. I'm just saying your chances are higher if it has a good history report and it's been maintained well. Your chances are higher of experiencing less problems with it, and you will experience more positive things with it. You'll have fun driving it. You won't have to deal with so many issues. You won't have to spend so much money maintaining the car. I still do encourage that you're financially ready before you buy a BMW. Like, set aside money just in case something does break, even if it has a good history report, even if it has a good inspection, because you never know, like I said. So just have some money ready to spend just in case something breaks and you're gonna have to fix it. These are still luxury cars in the end, and they still are going to cost more than just a regular Toyota or Honda. They're still gonna cost more. So yeah, guys, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I hope some of you make a decision maybe. But yeah, that's all I got for this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one.